We've got a very important and great article to break down today as Ayo Dosunmu has officially broken out. We thought this was happening in a role player, just starter situation earlier on this season, but now with Coby White down as well as Zach LaVine, Dosunmu officially stepped up in a major way last night against the Washington Wizards. I'm your host, Joey Mercer. This is another episode of Bulls Digest, and before we get into it there today, I just want to say that about 76% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed, so if you're enjoying what you're watching, make sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button, and every single time we upload, you'll be able to stay up to date with all of our takes on the Chicago Bulls and everything you need to know about them. So without further ado, let's talk a bit more about Ayo Dosunmu and Dosunmu breaking out. So, it's no secret that he has been a very important part of this team so far this season as they make a final push for that play-in spot and look to make a dent in the playoffs. Even if it is an exit, this is kind of where they cemented themselves. They've kind of made what they want out of this season by not making any trades at the deadline, by not moving any pieces around besides calling up a couple guys from the G League. And realistically, based on that, we have to do whatever we can to make a playoff push because there's nothing else that's going to happen with this team this year until the offseason. It's good to see some of the younger guys stepping up, especially Ayo Dosunmu. We can see here over his past few games in the month of March, last night playing 40 minutes in that career high, 34 points, 14 of 22 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3 with 9 assists, 3 rebounds. Great game out of him there. He's had a couple games in between there where he shot 2 of 11 from the field and a 4 of 13, but the rest of those games are very solid outings because you can look at the 3-point field goal percentage there against the Cavs is very solid, 4 of 9. He's been also picking up a good few assists for a guy playing shooting guard, and he's also been getting a few rebounds. When you look at his averages over the season based on how he's been playing in the month of March, it's a pretty good, significant, increase. Of course, the field goal percentage is hovering around the same, and the three-point shooting has been very good. We know how well he shot the ball from 3 in February, and he's continued that trend for the most of it there in March. Had a few games that he has been lower, but the defense, the rebounding, the assists in those games has also been very good. So it's good to see that Ayo is on the trend now with Coby White going down, of course, that it looks like after that bad game against the Clippers, he is more than back on track with a career high against the Washington Wizards. Good to see out of Ayo. I mean, there's obviously going to be a couple of games in there where they don't have a favorable matchup, and it's going to be a little down, just like Coby White has had. But this really is a sign, in my opinion, that Ayo is officially ready to break out and take that center stage and really be that guy that can help us out when players are out of the lineup and kind of fit wherever he needs to be and wherever Coach Billy Donovan needs him especially. We can see here that it says that Dosunmu, whose previous high was 29, in a win at Atlanta last month, made 4 threes. The third-year pro matched the season best with 9 assists, and he said he keeps a journal tracking his progress. And there's a noticeable difference from a year ago. I wrote down where I was at last year because I knew I wasn't the player I wanted to be, said Dosunmu, the Chicago product who played at Illinois, of course. I understand that in order to get better, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of work. I pretty much tried to write it down just so at a time like now, I could look back a year and say, okay, this is where I was at. And that's important for a player trying to improve, to really track his progress. And it's great to see that Dosunmu has taken such an interest in himself, and Ayo has really been trying to improve his game and looking at where he was, where he wants to be, and where he wants to be in the future, more so importantly. Coach Billy Donovan said Dosunmu was a constant presence at the team's practice facility in the offseason, and the work is paying off. I do think there's even much more room for improvement for him, Donovan said. I think he had to solve some things for himself. Just talking to him a little bit about the way he was being guarded, it's really hard to play to your strength, which for him is out in transition on the open floor, attacking the paint if you're not a threat ever to shoot. Now, he has been shooting the ball pretty well as of late. There's been a few games, as we mentioned, as a dip, but there's been a great, increase in volume and percentage since last season where he took quite a dip in his three-point percentage. Now, we can see that Coby White obviously has been out of the lineup since being injured against the Indiana Pacers when DeMar had that great game, and it was a bit of a scary fall. So let's break that down a bit because that has really been another reason why Coby White was given the opportunity last night to really break out. So, Coby White injury. What do we know about this, and what do we need to know, and how do we feel here at Bulls Digest on what direction this is going in? Well, we actually got an article from Sports Illustrated here saying Coby White avoids severe injury, diagnosed with a mild hip strain. The Bulls and their fans heaved a sigh of relief with this development. The Chicago Bulls dodged a bullet on Thursday with the news of star guard Coby White suffering only a mild right hip injury. The fortunate development came to be after the former Tar Heel underwent tests to determine the severity of the injury he suffered late in the contest against the Indiana Pacers on Wednesday. It was an awkward fall, though. The injury occurred as White soared for a layup that would have given the Bulls the lead with only 5 seconds left in the game. However, Pacers big man Pascal Siakam chased White and swatted the ball away. Unfortunately, Siakam landed on White, whose leg bore the brunt of the awkward fall. And that's not exactly what you want to see. In the time, Coach Billy Donovan was very worried. All of us at home, I'm sure, were worried. I was certainly worried and thought that it was going to be quite significant. It looked like it was going to be something that was going to cause him to be out for quite some time. But thankfully, he has avoided anything too serious. The injury initially looked much worse as White writhed in pain on the court, clutching his knee. This prompted immediate concerns for the young guard, who has been a key factor in the Bulls' recent success. However, after being helped off the floor and receiving treatment from team trainers, White has his usual jovial self in the locker room after the game. As for when White may be able to return to action, Donovan explained that it all comes down to the guard's comfort level. It's probably going to be when he can start to feel comfortable to get back to playing, Donovan said. All the imaging came back relatively clean. He is dealing with discomfort and soreness there, so it's just a matter of how quickly and soon he can get over that. Now, Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted following the game, saying the Chicago Bulls guard Coby White's MRI revealed a mild hip strain, sources tell ESPN. White, a most improved player candidate, has averaged 20 points and 5 assists and could return to the lineup as soon as Saturday versus the Wizards. Now, we know, of course, he did not return in that game against the Wizards, which helped Dosunmu obviously propel to that career high, but we do hope Coby White is back in the lineup as soon as next game, but we don't want him back too soon. That could cause further injury, such as something similar that happened to Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers, who could have probably won MVP if he didn't try to play through things against the critics and really listen to the media and hurt himself even more. Next, we saw that Donovan did fear the worst during this injury. With all-star Zach LaVine and promising forward Patrick Williams already sidelined for the remainder of the season, the Bulls did not need another injury to one of their key players. When Coby White went down, head coach Billy Donovan couldn't help but fear the worst. Initially, I thought it was his knee, and I first saw him grab. And then after he got up and left, I talked to the trainer, and he said it was his hip. He was in some pretty significant pain right when it occurred, and then he was in pain afterward. When you see a guy go down with that kind of force on top of him, you worry about this thing could be a lot worse. In some ways, we escaped a bullet there, so to speak, that it wasn't something more significant or severe. And it is good to see that Coby White hopefully will return to the lineup soon, and it isn't something serious that's going to cause him a lot of trouble down the road or keep him out of the lineup for a prolonged period of time. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know how you feel about Dosunmu really stepping up in the absences of Zach LaVine and Coby White. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. His career high was great last night against the Washington Wizards, which is the main reason why I wanted to bring you this video here today, as he's been breaking out as of late. And let me know how you feel about Coby White coming back to the lineup and the injury that he sustained against Indiana. Let me know everything you guys got to think down below in the comment section below. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed what you saw. Subscribe to the channel for more content, and we'll see you all in the next video. Signing out.